Hey, everybody. It's Two Farts in a Can, episode number 2. We've already done one. We did We're Back. We did that last week. This week, what's up, dude?
What's up, man?
Not much. Okay, this week is called Homework. We're going to do this one this week called Home. Yeah, I know. I know you didn't.
My dog ate it.
Yeah. So let me explain what that is. By the way, guys, hit that subscribe button down below. Go and hit that. Hit the like button as you do it. Leave comments, whatever you want. It only helps us increase this channel as it goes forward. But I want to talk about homework. Homework is going to be a weekly part of this podcast. But I wanted to introduce it this week to tell you kind of where homework lies out. Jay and I have been talking a little bit behind the scenes. And what we wanted to do was give each other a chore. Now, the chore could be try this food, try this drink, watch this movie. What we broke it down to, let me lay out the rules. First of all, if it's going to be a movie, it could be a movie or a documentary, not a 4-part documentary, but just a documentary show along with a movie. We want you to only sit down and watch. He watches one that I give him, and I watch one that he gives me. If we decide to start a new TV series, the TV series, and that may be a weekly thing outside of homework, but it's going to be where we both have never seen it. That way we only have to do an episode at a time. And if at any time one of us dislikes the show we started watching, one of us can bail, and that show's in the trash unless the other one wants to watch it on their own. It's not coming back. And then food or whatever. So that we kind of agreed to those terms, right?
Sure.
Okay. And guys, we want you to give us homework. You guys hit something down there. Tell us what you want us to watch. Hey, have y'all seen this? One of the rules is this. If we're going to start a homework movie for both of us to see or give each other one, I've obviously seen it. Jason has it. And then he's given me one he's seen and I have it. If we start a TV show, it's got to be something both of us have never seen. So if you guys suggest a TV show and we don't use it, it's because one of us has seen it. We're not going to go into it where Jason's already seen it and he wants me to watch it. That's not how it happens. TV shows usually run multiple episodes, multiple seasons. If we're going to commit to something, we're going to commit together first time seeing it so we can talk about it. We can talk about what's new. I got in a little trouble.
Yeah, you forgot your firstborn. What a piece of shit.
I talked about you talked about Morgan and you talked about Jake. I talked about Ryan and Ryan and Kevin. Huh?
The other one,
Kevin, and didn't bring up Allie, who, by the way, I went to her graduation. They had graduation for the kindergartners. That was a lot of fun. I went up and did that last week. And if y'all don't ever watch it, I put it out on Facebook, guys, but Allie does this thing, what kindergartners say. And she puts out this list. Have you read some of those?
Oh yeah. I read them all the time.
They're hilarious. I mean, she gets she banks them and then tries to do it once or twice a year. And this last one was for April Fool's. My dad farted on me, and then she tagged me on that one. I thought that was a cheap shot.
That was cheap.
Yeah,
you know what? She deserves to be ignored.
That's true. That could be. That could be.
Just helping you cover your ass.
She went and complained to Ryan about it, who watched it, and Ryan goes, "Well, it's obvious I'm the token gay guy."
I told you. Tell us more about his sexual orientation.
Yeah, so I told you he's hysterical. So getting on here and doing that. So that's our listen. We wanted to get on before we. So Jay, I want to bring up the homework we had. That's going to be to the end of kind of towards the end of the show.
Okay.
We're going to talk about what we did and explain what it is. Tell them what you had me watch.
I had John watch a movie, kind of a B flick that I watched a long time ago, and I just love the premise of it. I like history and more specifically obscure history, and so whenever I find something that's kind of bizarre like that, I used to go pick stuff off at Blockbuster a long time ago. That's when I was married to my second wife, and I would come home with them, and she would go, "Hey, was that on the main wall or was it in the middle?" Because if they were on the main wall, it was all the mainstream big movie stuff. If it was in the middle, it was random documentary stuff. So anyway, I had John watch a movie called Man of Earth. And
Nope. You called it Man of Earth, and I could not find it under the name Man of Earth because what came up was this foreign French flick with subtitles, and I was going, "Is this what you're trying to?" It's A Man from Earth.
Man from Earth. Okay.
A Man from Earth, which I'll talk about later. We're not going to get into the topic.
Right. So, but it was about this guy and his professors, right? Like they're all professors.
Yes.
Okay.
No, the guy is a professor, is what it was, and he's retiring. Okay,
it's a really Twilight Zone kind of flip twist to it, but it was a lot of fun.
We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, went a different way. Jason is a sports fan. Everyone knows it. We're both sports fans. As much as he's a sports fan, I think we would all agree you are a big football fan.
Yes.
You're a big football fan. You tolerate other sports, and I guess in scenarios you'd go to games for basketball, baseball, hockey, stuff like that, but you don't follow it. You don't really know what's happening. I had you watch a documentary called The Battered Bastards of Baseball.
Yeah.
And I did that because I thought, this is a documentary that I think someone who doesn't even really like the sport might enjoy. Now, I'm going to hear it later. If you did, you're going to tell me and explain what it was about. And so that was our homework this week, and we'll get into that in a little bit. We did want to get into this show and kind of tell you what this show is going to be about, okay? So this show is basically a Gen X show. We're all Gen Xers. It's not just the Duncanville 1986 class, which a lot of people started with that. This is people that went and graduated high school from anywhere from 80 to probably up to 2000, somewhere in that range. This is kind of, we grew up in a different world than kids grow up today. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're still working on this. When I stop talking, jump in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's strange watching things because, for those who know and those who don't, my significant other is about half my age.
Right.
So we talk about things all the time, and she's like, "Did you guys really do that?" I'm like, "Yeah, we actually really did that."
Yeah.
The fact that we got up and left the house when the sun came up, and it wasn't because we wanted to. Our parents kicked us out.
Yeah,
and they said, "Don't come back. If you came back early, they were mad at you, and they kicked you back early and said, listen, when the street lights come on, you come back. But until then, stay away."
Yep.
And she's like, "Is that real, or are you guys making that up?" I'm like, that's how we spent every summer day of our lives when we lived at home.
You know that this little thing called a cell phone right there? That's an electronic leash. Our kids are on a leash. We didn't have that. I've said it over and over. I even said it last week on episode 1, because this is episode 2. I said, if we were kidnapped at 9:00 in the morning, my parents would not know till the sun went down.
That's right.
The kidnapper would be 8 to 10 hours away at least.
Yep.
Because
they'd have plenty of time to get away.
They did not know where we were. If they didn't see us out in front of our parents did not know where we went.
Right.
They had no thing. So, but there were some people that have reached out. One thing we want to do, the class of 86 is coming up on their 40th reunion coming up. We are going to invite, we don't really want to do a big guest. I know we had a lot of guests on the first time we did this around. We're going to stay semi away from that, I think, unless.
Because they all sucked.
Huh?
Because they all sucked.
No. Actually, they were good. It was just tough getting everyone lined up. You and I can set a schedule. Maybe if we get some semi-celebrities on or somebody notable from that era, that might work. We are going to have on the class of 86 is doing their 40th reunion. We're going to invite on just for a few minutes the girls that are running that. Probably in about a month or so, we'll do that. Just have them jump on for about a minute and tell us about it and what's going to happen. We'll obviously promote it and let everyone know where to get the tickets for that. But we want to help the class of 85, 87 when they do their 40, whatever. You guys reach out and we'll do that. We also had some people reach out about possibly they're wanting to start a foundation and do this other stuff. That's great. Get your foundation started. We're probably not going to do infomercials for it, but you can send us information and we'll be happy to promote it. I do want to bring up one person, and here's an example. This is going to be a fun show. All we want to do is fun stuff, but we also have to take a moment and be serious. Renee Ryle Reynolds, if y'all don't know who that is, Renee Ryle's in the class of 85. You know who she is.
I do.
Did you see her husband has been diagnosed with stage 4 bile duct cancer? This is very serious.
I didn't know that.
They have publicly announced it. They worked on the show Jeopardy and all of that. They live in California.
Okay.
Renee's father was a pastor at a church I grew up in. I saw the video. Someone brought it to my attention. Lift up Renee and her family. That is obviously, if she watches this and wants to laugh and all of that, that's great. We're thinking of you, honey. We're pulling for your husband. You got a beautiful family. And, we haven't seen you in many, many years, but we love you and we're praying for you. Stuff like that for sure we're going to bring up. And if you have a foundation, that's kind of what you and I decided. Give us links to it. Tell us about it. We'll be happy to throw something on. I don't know whether or not we'll have people on to do things.
Right.
It just because this show is going to stay 40 to 60 minutes. We want to keep it there, keep it rolling. We're going to have topics every week. So
it gets them in a silo, so we bring on somebody that's about their specific thing. It doesn't touch the entire audience. It only touches a very small group of people. So
right. And then people are like, well, hey, I've got my thing. Can you put my thing on? And we're happy to promote something if you've really got a significant thing happening, maybe a fundraiser, something to that effect. Let us know.
All right.
Okay. What, I wanted to talk we do a rundown, guys. We have a little rundown. I send to Jay. We look over it. We kind of touch on topics. I wanted to ask about weird celebrity encounters. I don't get to use the Texas Rangers or baseball. That doesn't count because I meet all the Texas Rangers, all the baseball players. I don't get to use that. I wanted to go outside of that. Have you ever had a weird kind of a celebrity encounter that you've encountered somebody?
Yeah.
I've got a few. Tell me one or two.
Yeah, so I've got a good one. So back in the day, and for those of you who know, and those of you who don't, I guess, I did professional stand-up for a while, and it was a lot of fun. I moved out to Florida. I was doing shows up and down the East Coast. I lived out there with a friend of mine named Greg Feitz. A lot of you know Greg, some of you don't. Doesn't matter. But he and his brother and I, and then we had a girl from Lubbock that they knew from college that came out and lived with us. And so I was doing stand up out there, and we were all supplementing our income, waiting tables at Steak and Ale, right there on Dale Mabry in Tampa. If you're familiar with Tampa at all,
I don't even think Steak and Ale's around anymore.
There's about 2 of them around. They're starting to make a comeback, though. It's an interesting story. I'll tell you offline. It's a little nerdy for the folks that are watching, I'm sure. But at any rate, so we all waited tables and bartended and stuff there. That's kind of how we supplemented our income. And John knows, and we've got a host of people on this call that we all work together. In different restaurants, but this was Steak and Ale. And so it was while I was doing stand-up. So it's a busy Friday night. And I don't know if anybody remembers, do you remember who Paul Rodriguez was?
Is he a comedian?
Yeah. Hispanic comedian. He was really popular for a minute, in the 80s, 2-3 years. But while he was popular, him and his agent, and I guess some people that they knew, came into Steak and Ale to have dinner one night before their show. And I knew who he was, and several people recognized him and came and told me, they're like, hey, did you know Paul Rodriguez is here? I'm like, oh, that's cool, man. He was probably playing down at Side Splitters. It's a club that I worked at down there. And so I was really excited. So I told the server that had them, I didn't wait on them, but I told the server that had them, I said, when they're done, I said, bring me the bill. I want to buy his dinner. It's just something fun to do. Don't tell him who did it. I just, it's something cool for me to tell later on. That's why I'm telling it now. And so she goes, okay. And so sure enough, the bill came and they brought it to me. I think it was like $180 or something like that. And this was the beginning of the night. So I didn't even have $180 in my pocket. I was betting on what I was going to make over the course of the night to cover this. Right. So I paid the bill. And
let's be honest, truthfully, it probably wasn't 180. It would be like 180 today, but it was probably like $90.
It was well over 100. I remember that because I kind of panicked and because they had ordered more stuff than I thought and had some drinks and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, so I think it was like 150, $180. So I paid the bill and I said, I'll cover the bill. And I'm sure that'll make them leave you a giant tip because the bill is taken care of. And that fucker stiffed them. No money. And to make it worse, 3 weeks later, he was either on Letterman or somewhere and told the story and said, hey, the host or whatever said, there's a rumor out there that you totally stiffed the server. And he goes, well, 15% of zero is zero. Yeah, I could not believe it. Couldn't believe it. I met this, I never got to meet him. I just want to do something nice for him because comedian, that type of stuff. I was really hoping he'd say, who paid for it? Have him come on over and I could meet him. Right. And nope. Took the money, walked out, never asked who did it, and stiffed the server.
Wow.
True story. So fuck you, Paul Rodriguez. Pinche pendejo.
Well, I have a different one. When I worked with a company that I used to travel nationally, go everywhere, I've had a few, but I had a few that happened on this trip. We actually went to the Bahamas on a sales trip. We would do these every year because we traveled a lot. And while we were at the Bahamas, they were having a celebrity golf tournament. Now, normally we would go to these resorts all around the United States or the Bahamas. Our wives or girlfriends would get to come. They would do spa days. We would go play golf, and the company would pay for it. It was really nice. I mean, they spent a lot of money. I'm not going to say the company is just because I don't think they don't pay us. They pay me. They want to pay us. I'll advertise the company. But this place, it was Michael Jordan's celebrity golf court tournament. So all these people were there playing golf in this, and we didn't get to play golf, but we had tickets to go watch the golf tournament. And, you know, most golf tournaments have thousands of people walking around to watch it. This had 11 walking around to watch every one of them. But everyone was staying in Atlantis where we were in the same hotel. So we were all staying in the same resort because it was the golf course for that. And I had been at my hotel room and I was going down to go to the casino. And I walked in. I was kind of looking at something. I don't remember. There weren't really cell phones. We just had these little cameras. And this little that I made my joke for everybody. They gave us these. Remember those little the disposable cameras?
Yeah.
Everybody, because I was single, wanted me to take a photo for them, so they would all get a photo. So I would rewind and take a photo of myself, and then rind it. And everyone, and even people I didn't know, went home, and one of their photos when they developed them was a picture of my ugly mug. So, and I got a few comments. But I get on there, and I was looking at it, walked in, and as I turned around, I kind of realized somebody's in here with me. And so I just kind of did the turnaround, and it was Aiden Quinn. If you don't know who that is, from Legends of the Fall, he was the brother of you saw the movie.
Did Ryan tell you about this movie?
Huh?
Did Ryan tell you about this movie?
Brad Pitt was in Legends of the Fall. The guy who played his
Ryan told you about this movie.
The guy who played his brother was Aiden Quinn, who's a known actor all over and all of that. So he's on there, and we locked eyes.
Yeah.
And I looked at him, he looked at me, and he kind of was like, oh, he had that look of, oh,
here we go.
Here we go. And I went, so. He goes, so. And then I turned around, it went to the first floor, and we walked out right next to each other. We walked about 20 feet next to each other. And when he split off, I went, see ya. He goes, see ya. But I ran into a few people there. Pamela Anderson was there roaming around. I played blackjack next to Roger Clemens, but of course he's a baseball player. But the guy, you know, Judd, is it Judd Nelson? The one that was in, he was one of the Brat Packs.
Like Breakfast Club?
Yeah, he was the bad guy.
Judd Nelson?
Is it Judd Nelson?
I think so, yeah.
Or it's not Judd Hirsch, I don't think.
No.
I think it's Judd Nelson. Anyway, he was playing golf, and we did not realize. We were walking around, and he made a par on a hole, and I was walking with his girlfriend and had no clue. Me and Buddy were walking with his girlfriend. He runs over, kisses her, and then hugs me and my friend because he's so excited. Anyway, that's my celebrity. Wow. There were more that happened that weekend, but I figured I don't want to roll them out all here. Hey, we're Gen X.
So you picked Aiden Quinn and Judd. You don't remember his last name? Out of all the people you met, those are the two you picked to talk about?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. If you don't like it, hit the subscribe button over here to the side, hit the like button, or leave me a message telling me I'm a moron. Messages help too, so leave a message. By the way, we said this over and over. You can give us homework assignments if you want to. So you and I are Gen X.
Yeah.
What is something your kids just roll their eyes at? They can't.
Yeah, so they hate it when. By the way, have you noticed that the lighting makes me look like I'm in a hostage video?
You don't. You look like you're. I keep expecting somebody in a mask behind you holding something or one of those. Yeah.
I am here of my own accord.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff that make my kids roll their eyes because I'm kind of a dumbass. But the one that really gets them, and I love doing it all the time, is when I use old slang words. they're really outdated, and it makes them super uncomfortable. So like I'll say groovy a lot, and that drives them nuts. So when they tell, I'll be like, "Oh, that's groovy, man." I'll be like, "Dad, nobody says that anymore." I'm like, "Are you sure?" I feel like that's still a hot word. So I try to find obscure words like that all the time and roll them out because it makes them roll their eyes.
If you are, let me tell you something, and Jason can back this up. If you are not constantly figuring out a way to embarrass your adult children, you are not a good parent.
I'll tell you the best one. So Morgan asked me one time, my daughter, she's like, "Hey, do you want to do whatever it was?" I said, "I'm down with OPP." And she rolled her eyes and started laughing. "Do you know what that means?"
No.
She goes, "Dad, you need to stop saying that." I was like, "Why?" And she goes, "Do you know what that means?" And I said, "No." You want me to tell you what it means?
Well, yeah.
Other people's pussy. And I was shouting it all the time. I'm like, "I'm down with OPP. Yeah, you know me." And she was like, "You have to stop saying that." I haven't said it until today, but
oh God Almighty. I got a funny one for you that I work here with Karen, and her husband said you ought to say this, but I guess Karen had bought some chapstick, but it was technically not chapstick. On it, it was had a big V on it, and it was for something, but she had only been using it as chapstick. She didn't realize, and it was, or whatever. But Jay
not vagina stick.
Yeah, it was something like this. Yeah.
Are you saying Karen has a chap vagina? Is that
Jay was taking his Jacqueline, who's, by the way, congratulations to all the seniors graduating. She's graduating high school this year, going to play softball in Oklahoma at East Central University. She's going to play softball. Anyway, beautiful. But they're running to batting practice about a week ago, and she grabbed that chapstick and she put some on and did that, and then she read what it was, and she goes, What is? Did I just put my mom's pussy?" And she didn't.
I don't know.
It was, yeah. Anyway, that's bad. I didn't want to say that, but he brought it up and thought it was funny, and it was funny. And it turns out, I guess that's a thing. She didn't know. He didn't know. Nobody knew. It's actually chapstick. You could use it, but I guess they have that. I didn't know they even had that.
Vaginal chapstick?
Yeah.
I think you get bigger issues if you need chapstick on your vagina.
Yeah, I kind of wonder.
But probably prescription strength. Like, how do you ask for that at the pharmacy?
I don't think it's prescribed. That's why I think you just grab it off the shelf. But you grabbed chapstick and didn't realize what you were grabbing.
Is this good if I'm bleeding a little? Like if I'm cracked?
So, but I am consistently trying to embarrass my kids.
Sure.
I do it all the time. And if I find something that drives them crazy, I wear it out. I mean, I wear it out and I make them mad. I do field day for Allie's kindergartners every year. And she always tries to stop down to get a photo with them. Well, I'm like the grandpa. When I'm there, I'm just a grandpa at the kindergarten thing, right? She's going, "Dad, take a picture. And I'm holding, and I'm telling them all to make stupid faces. She's going, no. I want them to take a good one. And I'm going, okay. 1, 2, stupid face. And I can't dude, she threw her phone. She was so mad. And I had to finally break down. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have a job to do while I'm there. Am I right?
Yeah. I think if your kid stomps out of the room, maybe you went a little far. I'm just saying. Yeah.
I never think that.
What does the gay one think about it?
Huh?
What does the gay one think about it?
I don't know. I haven't asked the gay one what he thought. He is for tormenting his brother and sister, so he probably would be all on board for it.
Yeah.
He would probably be all on board. So he is, there's no issue there. I guarantee you, Ryan doesn't care. He's like, "Hey, Dad, you do what you got to do. You got to do that." So, okay. Should we get into our homework?
Sure.
Okay. Do you want to go first, or you want?
Yeah, let me go first.
Huh?
So John had me watch the Battered bastards of baseball. And honestly, if I could have found like the cliff notes on it, I probably wouldn't have watched it, but I did. And so I sat out there on my back patio, smoking a cigar and having a cold drink and watched this thing. And I got to tell you, it was much better than I probably thought it was going to be.
Sure.
I really thought it's going to be some deep dive nerd baseball stuff. Julio Iglesias' batting average from 74 to 73, and
which you would be interested in.
No, I was like, this is going to suck. So I was prepared to take some notes and remember some names, and so I could talk about it intelligently. As it turns out, I really liked it. So, you want me to tell you what it's about?
Yeah, tell them what it's about, and then I'll interject because, of course, I know it well.
Yeah. So the main character, the main focal point of this documentary is a guy named Bing Russell. And Bing Russell, up until the other night, I didn't realize this, is Kurt Russell's father. And this guy was, first of all, he was the sheriff on Bonanza, I think, for 13 seasons or something. So that's how Kurt Russell got into acting, is his family was in it. Like most of those guys, they just kind of, take over the family business. And so that's how he got into acting. But that's not what he was really known for. He was a businessman and different things. Well, this was right around the time that the professional affiliates were really starting to lock in on the minor leagues. And they were there were a bunch of independent teams. Cities all over the United States had these independent baseball teams, and they were they played each other, kind of like arena football.
Let me interject so that I know you don't understand this, but you're telling it good. But let me make sure people understand.
John had me watch it so he could tell you guys about it. Go ahead.
I know I want to clear up something. Yep. Back in the days, we've all heard of the Babe Ruths and all of that growing up. There was no such thing as minor leagues. You would play in these independent leagues, and these big league teams would hire you from there. And you would come up and play on their team. And most of baseball outside of the major leagues was these independent leagues. That all went away, and there were no more independent teams until Bing Russell came along, because it was all affiliated with minor leagues for these major league teams now. Enter Bing Russell. Go ahead.
So Bing is a huge baseball fan. Like they talked about it as if he was probably like a savant. Like he knew everything, and not just nerdy stuff like Julio Iglesias' batting average and stuff like that. Like
the pop singer,
like strategy, and this guy had his foot turned the wrong way. He actually made a tutorial documentary on how to play certain positions in baseball strategy
with Kurt Russell as the star.
When Kurt Russell was a star in it. Kurt Russell was a great baseball player, and I knew that, but I didn't know the tie-in there. So anyway, he made these videos where he literally taught kids, not really kids, used adults in it, but really anybody, the fundamentals of the game. So, if you're playing shortstop and you got to cross over, when do you take the crossover step? When are you shuffling? When do you take the crossover step? Things like that. And it was so good that minor league teams and really big league teams adopted that as a training tool, and they used it because he was really there were a lot of pro ball players that were like, nobody's ever told me that. And it changed the way that they played the game and made them better and stuff like that. So he was kind of a big celebrity in the baseball world. I mean, everybody knew him and respected him and stuff like that. Then the minor league team, like John was talking about, kind of split up, and all of the other independent teams just kind of disappeared. And there was one that was left, and it was in Portland, and they were called the Portland Mavericks.
They were called the Portland
Mavericks.
That's what they were called when he bought them. But they were called something before that, and they were actually affiliated with a team. They were a AAA team for somebody, and they disbanded, and that territory became available.
That's right. So, and it was going to go away. So they disbanded everything, and so the territory was just going to get absorbed by the big leagues. And it kind of pissed Bing off, because he was like, this has been an institution in baseball for a long time, these independent teams for these smaller markets, because they don't have big pro teams to go work for. And so he decided he was going to rage against the machine. And so he started or took over a team inside that territory called the Portland Mavericks. Yeah, bought the territory called the Portland Mavericks. And then he did something completely unprecedented. So he just held open tryouts for the team. Like, it wasn't draft picks and all this type of stuff. He just ran an ad literally in the paper and said, if you'd like to try out for a semi-pro team called the Portland Mavericks, come on down for auditions and tryouts.
You did well because you don't know baseball, but you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, so I actually enjoyed it. So all of these people show up, and it kind of reminded me of what's the movie about the Eagles with
with Mark Wahlberg.
Vince. Vince, what's his name? Kind of reminded me of that. And they were doing it kind of as a marketing tool, but this guy was really looking for players.
The thing that really took off was there used to be a magazine called Baseball Weekly that went national, and he ran an ad in that, and it was basically, do you still think you could play professional baseball?
Yeah.
And want to play professional baseball? We're going to have a team for open tryouts. Well, they didn't have independents anymore, so if you weren't affiliated or drafted by a team, there were a lot of players that maybe had fizzled out in the minor leagues, and they're thinking, I can still play
college and didn't get drafted, or whatever. So all of these knuckleheads start showing up, and I mean they look about like you think they would. They were showing them on the documentary. I mean, they're guys that look like John and I. These are guys that they haven't played competitively in 3 years, but like, I'm going to give it one last shot before I turn 30. And so they all came down, they tried out, and they picked this team, and it was just this team of oddballs. But he picked them for certain reasons. Everybody had a component to that team. There, whether it was personality, whether it was a certain player's traits, whether he didn't hit very well, but he always hit the left field, whatever it was inside of Bing's brain, he was developing this team. There's another movie with Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill.
That's called Moneyball.
So it was kind of like that. So in that movie, Jonah Hill's putting this team together based on the things that they're good at instead of them being an all-around person. So they may suck at one thing, but they're great at another, and that fits in the program. So that's what he did. Well, he started winning. And so they started winning these games, and they became very competitive and started this went on. And so the crowds grew, and they were having a great time. The team was having a great time. Like, they've got very little coaching. They had coaches out there, but they did practice. And when these guys played, they just played. They didn't give them signals. They swing away. You want to hit a home run, hit a freaking home run. You want to hit a grounder, hit a grounder. Whatever it is that you want to do, just play. And what I got from it was they became good because he let them play the game. The game, right? That's what we remember as kids was it was a game and it was fun. And the pro teams had kind of taken the fun out of it. And so he said, just do what you want to do. And well, they became really freaking good. There was a guy, and I don't remember his name, but he was a pitcher and in the majors. Yeah. And I don't remember what happened to him.
He wrote the book Ball 4, which was
kind of exposed a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
The agent and the business of it and that type of stuff. So and they kicked him out.
So he was black. Let me look it up real quick. The guy who wrote Ball 4, because no, the baseball people that are watching this right now are gonna know who he is. Anyway, he had been blackballed. Jim Bouton. Yeah. He was blackballed from the major leagues for writing this tell-all book, but he still loved to play.
Yeah. And
so he went and signed with Portland just to pitch.
Yeah.
And just to have fun. And he ended up getting to go on the Tonight Show.
Yeah. Yeah. And read off every guy's name from that team on the Tonight Show. The really cool part, I don't know if
it was Kurt Russell who asked him, who said, Kurt Russell played on this team, by the way. This was before he was a major star. He was a good baseball player, and he'd gotten injured in the minor leagues. But Kurt Russell goes to one of his heroes, Jim Bouton. Bouton, that's how you say his name. And he said, what's the difference? You played in the major leagues. What's this, whatever? And Jim Bouton goes, dude, it's baseball. He goes, when you get between the lines, it's baseball. He goes, tell me something. Where would you rather be than this place right now? And that's when Kurt said, yeah, that's the truth. That's what Bing created.
Yeah. Well, these guys weren't making any money. They were making like $300 a game. I mean,
a week. It was like a month.
Yeah. It was they were just doing it for the love of the game, and they were having a good time doing it. The really interesting part, I think it was Bouton. It might've been somebody else, but the first game that they played was a no-hitter.
Yep. It wasn't Bouton. No, it wasn't Bouton. He came like the second season.
Okay. So the opening game for this thing, like it was a joke in Portland and in the leagues and stuff. They were like, this is going to be a disaster. To be honest, I really thought this was going to be the precursor to the Savannah Bananas. Like I thought that's kind of where
that's
this was
pretty
headed.
interesting.
Yeah, I thought this must be like he's an entertainment and stuff. So this must be kind of how that style kind of got picked up, like Harlem Globetrotter type stuff.
Well, listen,
But it
I am
wasn't.
one of the biggest baseball fans, and I am affiliated with a major league team. I get to hang out. I know the ownership and all of that. Baseball, one of baseball's biggest problems is promoting their game, and they run a monopoly. And what Jason's explaining here was, so back then you would buy a territory for a minor league team is what the territory was. So Portland, but they were the only independent team in the United States, but they were so. With that being said, they could only play affiliated teams. So they had to play in this league, the Pacific Coast League or the Frontier League. I forget which one it was. They were playing against A teams. They were A ball. So minor leagues goes A, double A, triple A, and then you go to the big leagues. And they were playing A ball teams, but these were all the studs out of college and high school playing for these teams. And none of those teams drew any fans. Portland was drawing 250,000 people a year, which is unheard of in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
So you liked it.
I did like it.
And then baseball tried to screw him.
Well, and that's what I was really going to say towards the end of this discussion was I really enjoyed the documentary. I thought it was fabulous. I really enjoyed it. I've recommended it to other people. It was fun. What I really got out of it at the end is baseball is full of a bunch of fucking crooks and always has been. Yep. Like it is the most corrupt, and I didn't realize how corrupt. I mean,
every major sport is at the top.
Well, sure. These cats, they do it right out in public.
Hey, I'm a capitalist.
You can't do that.
I'm a capitalist. I believe in capitalism. I believe all of that. And these owners are successful capitalists and all of that. Politically, they probably agree with a lot of what I agree with. But make no mistake, there is some leadership issues in every major sport, and baseball's one, where they act like they want to act like they're on the poverty line. And I know they're generating a shitload of money.
Of course.
And so, but what they tried to do at the end, they tried to screw him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, they were playing. He said, the only thing we haven't done is won a pennant.
Yeah.
And so he goes, we're going to win a pennant. They were playing all the minor league teams. And
they would play the because they were teams, but these teams, when it came to the playoffs, would demote all their double A and triple A players. Yeah, they would send them down because they didn't want Bing to win because it was going to look bad.
Yeah. And
but they took them 7 games and they almost won the championship.
Yeah, they almost won it. But
And
it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
And I know you probably didn't pick this up, but let me make sure that people understand how crooked it was.
Nerd alert, nerd alert, nerd alert.
I'm the nerd. Back then, he turned it into a successful area. And back then, baseball could just come back in and take it over.
Yeah.
And give it back to an affiliated team and make that territory back with a certain, like I think the Seattle Mariners and all. It was kind of that area or up there, the Pacific Northwest. Baseball could just come in and do it. And I think Bing bought the franchise for like $5,000.
Yeah, $5,000.
And for baseball to buy it back, it was a flat fee of $25,000 to buy it back. And we thank you for doing this. Here's $25,000. And he said, fuck you.
Yeah.
He said, you know what? You can buy it back. You need to add another zero. He wanted $250,000. And
you know what I love about you? You know what I love about you?
What?
Whispering curse words.
Yes.
It makes them less offensive if you say, motherfucker.
I do. Because I'm a Christian man. I try so hard to be good. But
I love that you look over your shoulder, though. Is there somebody in the room with you?
Let me be very clear. Kathy and I have uttered the words at each other as a happily married couple. So it's not like I don't want my wife to hear me say a cuss word.
Right.
She can look at me straight in the face and tell me to go, stop, just like this.
You just did it again.
Yeah. So, but I do try to keep it semi-low because the algorithms will knock it down if they hear too much of it and say that. But he took them to court and won.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. It was good.
So you liked it?
I did. Yeah. I was surprised. I didn't think I would like it. I'm not a big baseball guy. John's right. Like 162 games, forget that. My attention span's too short.
Sure.
So I like football. It's one trophy, 18 games, go. And then it's over.
Yep.
But I'll watch the World Series and the playoffs. If the Rangers are in, I'll keep up with it, but I wouldn't watch it otherwise. But
Sure.
that when it talked about minor leagues, I was like, oh, John's trying to drag me down this nerd hole with him. And it was actually pretty good.
You know what? And I'm glad I did that, because my goal is not to give you homework to something I think you're going to hate.
Right.
It's to get you outside your comfort zone and let you go, wow, you know what? That was a cool story. Right. Or that was a good movie. Kind of what you did with me here. I would have never thought of this. And then and do it and then go, wow, I learned something about baseball. I didn't follow it. It doesn't mean Jason's going to go watch baseball.
No.
But it was interesting. And I would suggest it, guys. It's called The Battered Bastards of Baseball. Kurt Russell's kids were the ones that made it.
Yeah.
And it's about Kurt Russell and his dad and what Bing Crosby or Bing Russell did. By the way, who at one time had the record for dying in a TV show more than anybody else. He had been killed in Western shows like 87 times or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't know who the hell he was till they said he was the sheriff on Bonanza. I'm like, oh, yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah. And Bing grew up in Florida, and that's where the Yankees used to train.
Yeah.
And he would go to the ball games and ended up falling in with like Whitey Ford, Mickey Mantle, and these guys. And he was like a bat boy.
Yeah.
In all of this. And really, that's how he fell in love with baseball.
Yeah. Well, Steinbrenner's Field is here in Tampa. It's still there.
Yep. Yeah. And that's where Bing kind of grew up and did that and started doing that. That's where his love came for baseball. It was
cool.
Really good. Okay. So Jay sends me down this path. First of all, I've got to ask the question, how the hell did you find this show?
So do you remember my friend Jim Costin up in Georgia?
Probably met him.
Jim and Ron lived in the same community as Misty and I. And so Jim turned me on to it. Jim likes all types of weird stuff like I do. And so he's like, you of all people will freaking love this. Now, I will tell you, John's intent was to educate and bring me in something nice. My intention was to piss him off. And that's always my intention, is to make John, he's very set in his ways. John and I are two completely different people.
Yeah.
But it's amazing that we've been friends all these years. But he is the quintessential down the middle Christian man, long-term married, stay with your spouse no matter what, take care of your, I mean, he just, if you painted a Norman Rockwell painting, that's kind of what John has fashioned his life around. Mine, on the other hand, I'm working on wife number 3 and she's half my age, and I'm turning into the stereotypical old man in Florida. So John is very set. So I try to make him do things that are not in his comfort zone. And if you know him, it's a very small comfort zone. So it's easy to find shit like that will make him uncomfortable. And I thought this might do it, but we're about to find out.
So, okay. So first of all, I will say this. Whoever wrote it has a great mind. It's called A Man from Earth. Okay. Yep. Is what this movie is called. And essentially what you're doing is it's opening up. He apparently lives like on a lake in a cabin. And he is a professor at a university, and he is leaving the university. Looks like he's in his 40s, probably 40, 45 is what I would guess. And all of his colleagues are coming there to kind of send him off and tell him goodbye. And they are miffed or baffled at, why are you leaving? You're popular, you're all of this. Well, he's got this secret, and he decides maybe it's time that I disclose this secret.
Well, they were playing a game.
Yeah. They were playing a game. Well, they all wanted to know why he was leaving. You're retiring. Where are you going to go? And he wouldn't tell them where he was going and do all of that. So it turns out that he's not just a college professor. He is I don't know if you call it Cro-Magnate or whatever. He is from caveman days. He never ages, and he has to move. He started realizing a few hundred years back that about every 10 years, when people realize he's not aging, he has to pack up and move on to somewhere else. So he has lived all over the world, all over the thing. And so they of course think he's insane,
right? And
think he's nuts. But they start questioning things, and he starts answering things. It's a fascinating story. It's a fascinating movie. I do take liberty with one issue where he went. And because even his explanation, and I'm not going to get into it, this is not a theology class. He was
scored.
Yeah. He was totally off base on a couple things he said, but it's okay. It's all right. Because the movie, the guy who wrote this is obviously an atheist. And I mean that respectfully. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care. You believe what you want. But basically, he wasn't a famous person except basically one time.
Yeah.
He met and was around a lot of people. He described things perfectly. Like his friends they were starting to ask him questions about things, and he would tell what it was really like.
You missed one small part, and this will kind of tie it all together. Is they were all sitting around drinking and having dinner. They were just going to spend the weekend there as friends.
Right.
And so they got a little bored, so they started playing a game, and they said, pick somebody famous in history, and we'll start asking questions and try to figure out who it is. And so they start asking these questions and trying to narrow it down. And that's where you're kind of at, is the story just gets, like, they can't figure it out, but it just gets more and more detailed. They ask him a question and he starts telling them all these fine points in history. And it's, go ahead.
Okay. If you want it in a nutshell, he was Jesus.
Yeah.
But he was Jesus, but he wasn't a deity. He just basically, Buddha was a buddy of his, and he was trying to do what Buddha did over in India when they were buddies before Jesus.
I was just helping people.
I was just helping people.
It wasn't a joke. He was like, guy got hurt, and, they didn't know things back then. So I fixed him and he got up, and they thought it was a miracle.
And he offended the Christian that was there.
Yeah.
So he played it off at the end perfectly because he didn't want to leave. He was, and I give credit where credit's due. When he kind of hinted that he was a person from the Bible, he didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
No.
He knew it was going to be controversial.
So he didn't want to. And they finally, they were calling out biblical characters. What were you, Moses? They started doing that. And no. And then they finally hint at what it was. And he was technically Jesus.
Yeah.
And he wasn't crucified. He just left. That's why there was no body, which it's very documented that Jesus was actually murdered. He was documented. Anyway, but
trying to save your own soul.
Let me tell you the brilliance of what they did. They would go, well, how come you don't know everything? Because you should know everything. And he was like, well, you got to understand, when I lived in 1820, he goes, I only could learn what was there to learn at 1820. We learn a lot more now than we did in 1820. So no, I didn't know everything. I only knew what I could learn from my environment.
Only what you knew. Yeah.
Yeah. And he said, so that's what was different. He was in India. Buddha did not look like Buddha. Buddha was not the fat Chinese guy that sat around. He said that's not what he looked like. In fact, he had longer hair. He was just a really great person who cared about everybody else. I spent time with him, but he said every 10 years, what he would do was he would pack up and he would leave because people started noticing he wasn't aging. Now, let me be clear. This movie, the vibe of how it's filmed and how it looks like a movie of the week from the 1990s. It's not today's film and how sharp it is. So I don't know where you can find it. You can rent it on Amazon. By the way, Battered Bastards of Baseball is on Netflix.
Yeah, that's where I found it.
But I actually have a jailbroken
of the Battered Bastards of Baseball?
No. I got that off Netflix. But this movie, I didn't have to rent. I could watch it on. I've got a little app I can get to that watches all these movies. I have a Fire Stick. I got a jailbroke Fire Stick that gets me some movies and stuff when they're not on those sites, because this one is not streaming on a.
So, other than pirating movies, did you enjoy it?
I did. I really thought it was creative. It was, and you know what? It even had the biggest twist at the end.
Yeah.
One of the professors that kind of shows up later was a psychologist who was trying to kind of diagnose him and do whatever on that. And it turns out this guy was not only Jesus, he was that guy's biological father.
Yeah.
and it was an emotion, and he ended up dying. He had a heart attack when he found out, because he accidentally found out. He thought had left. He was talking to his girlfriend, and he said he was explaining how he would change names and these different names he was, and he named a name that he was back in the time that this professor was a kid. And he walked out and said, "What did you say?" Whatever that name, I forget what the name was, because I watched this, like, we gave this to each other about a week ago.
Yeah.
So it's been a week since I've watched it, and I don't remember names. Anyway, he started talking. He told him what his dog's name was. He did all of that. And he said, "They told me you abandoned me." And he said, "I didn't abandon you. I couldn't stay. I had to leave." And all of that. And so that was an interesting twist at the end.
Yeah.
So, but if you, it's
Cool movie.
intriguing, huh?
It was a cool movie.
It's intriguing. It is intriguing. If you are a diehard believer in Jesus Christ like me, you've got to open your mind, or you're going to be offended.
Right.
I did not take offense. I was like, okay, this guy's obviously not a Christian guy.
Right.
That wrote it, but it was a brilliant premise. It was like he wrote it brilliantly for someone that would have lived, that would have truthfully been from that time frame. And he didn't remember being born. He didn't remember being a kid. No. He only remembers that age at around that time frame when dinosaurs were around and all of that. So, and he just,
kind of a Highlander type.
Yeah, it's kind of a Highland. It is kind of a Highlander, but he doesn't time travel.
No, he's just there.
He's just there, and he moves on and moves around the world and goes places and leaves. And you know, so he's outlived every friend he's ever had and all of that. It's pretty interesting. It's called A Man from Earth.
Yeah.
And they ended up making a few more. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that.
There's like a second one.
Continuations of that story?
I guess so. It's him.
Oh, now I'm going to have to go
when I saw it, I started to watch one, and actually I started to watch it, and then I'd gotten off and I went back in and started to watch it, and I said, this looks different. And it was A Man from Earth, and then it had like a colon, and I forget what it was. There's another one. Like he's still a college professor, but he's somewhere else, and a couple of the girls have a crush on him. It was the first 10 minutes of it. But he is like, he has no interest. You know, he's got his thing. He's trying to help these kids. Anyway.
College professors with 2 girls in interest. You sure that wasn't on Pornhub?
Yeah. A lot of nudity in the second one. There was a lot of nudity and graphic sexual content. It was really graphic.
You know, if you pause it for too long, it'll time out.
Yeah. I only watched about 30 seconds of it.
Right. Over and over and over and over again.
Well, I got 30 seconds into it. It was kind of over for me after that, kind of cleaned up and went on. So
who's that comedian that said, I hate when I go to a hotel room and you can buy the package of porn? He goes, the first time I bought it, it was like, you know, $10.95 for 6 hours of porn. He goes, so I downloaded it, and he goes, 30 seconds in, I'm like, now I'm just humiliated for the next 6 hours. Like they were all laughing at me and taunting me.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to work this way down. Hey, let's talk one Duncanville story, because that's where we're from before we leave. Where do you remember hanging out when we were in high school?
McDonald's.
Huh?
McDonald's.
That was junior high, and it's no longer there. It's like an insurance company now that's vacant.
Oh, you know what? This is an interesting tie-in. So I was going to say Pizza Hut. So we would hang out at Pizza Hut and that type of stuff.
I know what you're fixing to go with.
Yeah. Did you see that?
The guy bought like 38 of them.
Yeah. And he's redoing them all like the 80s, 70s, and 80s.
He's bringing back the red cups.
Yeah.
He's doing the I guess they got away from the salad bars and the buffets, and he's bringing them back.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
I want to say, I think Amanda Brown worked for the company that owned Pizza Hut or Pizza Inn one. I don't know what she did for them, but I remember she worked for them.
Yep.
Not like in the restaurant, like she worked in the offices or something, but I don't know what she did, but I remember that she worked for that company.
Well, guys, we will you ready to wind this thing down?
Yeah.
Hey, send us ideas, homework ideas, movies to watch, TV shows you think we should start. Again, I want to be clear. if either one of us has seen it, it will not be one that we watch. We decided for homework we couldn't do, hey, I want you to watch the TV series this, because that's what do you want him to do? Watch a few episodes every week and update on it? No, we can update an episode a week of something we're both learning about.
Yeah.
And that could go along with homework. That could just be we've decided we're going to start whatever TV show.
Right.
And then we'll also do homework. So we're going to come up with a homework topic. We'll put it out there, guys. I appreciate it. Jay, we'll figure out. I don't know. This is Thursday, guys. It'll be out later today. So I don't know if we'll do one Monday. We might put one together by then. We could probably watch some little documentary or something and do something before then and get it together. We're going to try to do these on Monday or Tuesday afternoons. We both have freedom in our jobs to do that. And we would be able to do that and sit down for an hour. We appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button. Hey, Renee, we're thinking of you. Lots of prayer to you and your family and your husband out there. Till next week, we'll
see you soon.
See you soon. All right. That's it, guys. We'll see you.